AO for being upset that my mom called me selfish for putting my needs before hers. Hello, I am going to attempt to condense this lengthy story while still providing full details without revealing too much, as some of my siblings' friends use Reddit. I am a 20-year-old female and currently a senior in college, located approximately 300 to 400 miles from home. I have been working since I received my working papers at the age of 14 to support myself independently. My mother, Nancy, who is 46 years old, always believed that if we could work, we would be able to take care of ourselves. When I was accepted into my college, I made the decision to move because I needed to leave both Nancy and my siblings behind. At that time, I was unmedicated, undiagnosed, severely depressed, and working 50 hours a week. Additionally, I had to share my bedroom with my older sister because the apartment we moved into lacked enough space for all of us. I have dreams of becoming a doctor and have always considered that my life's goal. Quite honestly, that is the sole reason I am still here. I believe my future is bright and that I will achieve it. Fast forward to the end of last year when I encountered some financial difficulties. I typically maintain at least 2 jobs, an early shift from 4 a.m. to 1 p.m., and a late night one from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., but the restaurant where I worked closed down, and I could not find a second job that fit my schedule. Balancing my tuition, which is relatively reasonable for in-state students, but still amounts to $3,000 per semester after all my financial aid, merit scholarships, my car payment of $304, my insurance cost of $260 due to my inexperience driving in snowy conditions during my first year, my rent of $870, which is quite cheap for the area, groceries, gas, and other expenses left me feeling overwhelmed. At first, I was managing, but then I needed to start paying for the medical college admission test, which I am taking next month, along with applying to medical schools. I also faced car troubles that forced me to pay a nationally recognized repair shop multiple times, despite always returning immediately when the same problem reoccurred. 2 weeks ago, after submitting hundreds of job applications, I finally secured a second job working nights and was starting to feel optimistic that life might improve. However, I discovered my car was missing at 4 a.m. after a long wait. The bank that finances my vehicle informed me I was 60 days behind on payments, not 30 as I had believed. I also communicated with the loan officer, who typically called when payments were due, and thought we had arranged a payment plan to prevent repossession. It turned out she had been let go and had not updated anyone about her clients, which meant the bank considered me late. I was devastated and immediately called my mother, explaining that I had just paid my insurance and was scheduled to work double shifts for the next 2 weeks to catch up on my rent and loan payments. I pleaded for her assistance, and she responded that she would figure something out. Backstory: Nancy is completely unreliable. Aware of this, I tried contacting local banks and creditors to see if I could secure a personal loan instead of relying on her. Unfortunately, I was denied because my credit score is too low, thanks to the repair shop that failed to reimburse me properly. Nancy recently received pre-approval for a loan to buy a home, which has always been her dream. However, she is now seeking more funds beyond the $500,000 loan amount initially offered. She also has over $10,000 in her bank account. I asked Nancy if I could borrow the amount needed for my rent and the cost to retrieve my car, which includes the repossession fees. She reacted by screaming and labeled me selfish, claiming she could not access her money for fear that it might jeopardize her pre-approval. I pointed out that she had recently given my older sister $2,000, to which she responded that the circumstances were different. I had been expressing my distress to her and my siblings over the phone, panicking due to missing my daytime job and incurring transport costs that could fill an entire gas tank just to get to my night job. This month marks the 1-year anniversary of my previous attempt to take my own life due to the overwhelming pressure from work, school, studying for the medical college admission test, and battling depression. I conveyed my feelings to my sister, arguing that Nancy was being selfish by not helping me. My sister contended that Nancy worked 2 jobs, comes home late, and has always dreamed of owning a home. She accused me of making everything about myself and said that my mental health struggles affect the entire family. I admit, I lost my temper and pointed out that I, too, work 2 jobs, attend school, complete homework, go to tutoring sessions, study for the medical college admission test, and only manage to get up in the morning because of my antidepressants and ADHD medication. I have been living paycheck to paycheck for 2 months, struggling to find a second job, and often do not have enough for groceries, resulting in meals consisting of buttered noodles or whatever else I can find. I typically eat at my daytime job for free, but due to my car issues, I have been unable to do so. Nancy learned of this and lashed out at me, calling me selfish and stating that I do not know how to wait. She reminded me that the new house is meant for all of us, even though the purchase plan was supposed to happen last year. That was delayed because she was financially supporting her ex-husband, who cheated on her and left after she paid off his car. What hurt most was her assertion that she works 2 jobs and is never depressed, implying that my struggles were my fault for not being strong. My siblings supported her by saying that she works hard and nobody told me to attend a college that is far away. I chose this college specifically because it is recognized for its medicine program, which aligns with my goal. After my attempt last year, I informed them the following day, but none of them made an effort to drive up and be with me. They dismissed it, as they often do when it comes to my mental health. They seem unable to comprehend that even though we grew up in the same household, our experiences with Nancy were not the same. I have always felt like the black sheep for keeping to myself and wrestling with mental health issues since childhood. Nancy promised to give me the money last Friday, but claimed she lacked the time to go to the bank. Yesterday, she said her bank app was malfunctioning and she was too exhausted to send the funds. My rent was due on the 1st of the month, and as of the 15th, it is considered late. I also received an email from the new loan officer stating that to retrieve my vehicle with the waived fees from the tow company, which I had to negotiate with because my original loan officer caused this mess through her lack of communication. I must pay by Friday, as they plan to sell the car then. I have been missing classes and work, and I am overwhelmed with anxiety and headaches from worrying on top of not eating due to my medications. Nancy has indicated she might not have enough money and continues to refuse to touch the $10,000. At this point, I need to understand if all of this is my fault, as she claims, or if I am being manipulated. I feel exhausted and unsure if I am doing something wrong or not enough. I just don't know what to think anymore. Additionally, I am aware some may question why I do not use public transportation. My apartment is a 20-minute drive from campus, while my morning job is located near the college and my night job is 15 minutes away. My daily routine involves traveling from home to my morning job, attending class, then going to my night job and back home. On days when I have all 3 commitments, I intentionally leave a 45-minute gap to allow for extra pay while ensuring I arrive on time. Given that I attend school in an area that is not pedestrian-friendly, the distance is significant. Miles can take literal hours. Public transportation operates within specific time frames and varies between 30 minutes to over an hour for different routes. To reach school, I would need to 1. Walk 12 minutes to the bus stop, 2. Take a 45-minute bus ride, 3. Either walk 15 minutes or wait for a connecting bus, and 4. Endure either an hour-long bus ride if I wait or a lengthy 1.5-hour ride if I walk. Finally, 5. I would walk an additional 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the building. This entire process could take approximately 3 hours just to get to school. The bus does not operate until 5:30 a.m., which means I cannot commute for my 4 a.m. job. This area is incredibly frustrating because a vehicle is necessary for getting around, even for those living on campus. It takes only 10 minutes to drive to Walmart, while using public transport can take 30 minutes to an hour. If anyone is willing to assist financially, my Venmo is Outcast Nix, inspired by the band. Any contribution would make a difference. Even a single dollar would be appreciated as I am significantly in need. The account is registered under a business, which is linked to my personal finances. If my mother discovers this post, she will likely subject me to extreme criticism, pushing me into a downward spiral. I'm also cross-posting because I truly need support. I apologize if seeing this multiple times is bothersome. Thank you so much. Story 2. After 12 years of being inseparable, my boyfriend blindsided me with his infidelity. He confessed to being involved with a coworker while I was loyal and waited for the right moment. Now he wants to reconcile after being cheated on himself. Should I take him back? Hello, my boyfriend and I are the same age, 26. We have been together for more than 12 years, having started our relationship in school 8th grade. Everything began on February 10, 2012. Back then, we came together without fully understanding what our relationship meant, but we eventually grew to love each other so deeply that I began to think we were inseparable. I am a doctor, and he is an engineer. We performed well academically while supporting each other. Over the years, we faced many ups and downs together, but we maintained the belief that nothing could break our bond. However, things did not remain the same after approximately 12.5 years. For me, everything felt normal and happy, just as it used to be. The only aspect that seemed a bit unusual was when I would ask him to meet, go on dates, take trips, or spend time together. He would often respond that he was busy or caught up in something important, and he would only meet me for a couple of hours. He never agreed to meet alone in a room, which I initially overlooked because I was madly and deeply in love with him and trusted him completely, given the length of our relationship. He was my go-to person. It is also important to mention that I am a virgin. Though we explored many aspects of romance, we never engaged in sexual intercourse, as I believed we should wait a bit longer. I mention this for a specific reason. On January 11, 2025, we had an argument after he unexpectedly canceled a date that was initially planned for January 10. He did this without considering my feelings and left me angry, without any attempt at an apology or explanation. So on January 11, I insisted that we should go to a homestay for one day. I told him I did not care what he thought, he had to come. He began to argue and said we should not meet in confined spaces, which shocked me because he had always wanted such outings. I kept insisting and demanded a reason for why he was avoiding me. Eventually, he helplessly admitted that he believed he had done everything wrong and that I deserved better, implying that I was too good for him. At that moment, my world turned upside down, and I felt like everything was collapsing. I kept asking him who the other person was when it happened and where it took place. He revealed that he had engaged in sexual relations multiple times with a girl I do not even know from his workplace, and that he began to develop feelings for her while losing his feelings for me. This had been occurring entirely of his own volition for the last 7 to 8 months, and I had been completely unaware of her existence in his life. I had always been loyal to him and never betrayed his trust. I took our relationship very seriously because I genuinely wanted to marry him. I could not cope with this revelation and began experiencing anxiety attacks, panic attacks, insomnia, a lack of appetite, and some of the worst days of my life. Even after everything that happened, I do not know why I wanted him back in my life. I tried to make him understand the value of the years we had spent together, the memories we shared since childhood, the promises he made to me, and the love and affection we experienced. However, he did not comprehend any of it. Even after January 11, when he saw me suffering miserably and was pressured by his parents to leave that girl, he continued to maintain contact with her until he discovered that she had cheated on him, instant karma. I researched that girl and learned she was merely using him. I attempted to explain this to him countless times, but he was too blind to heed anyone's advice. On February 17, he learned the truth about her. He then called me to discuss everything he had discovered and expressed a desire to talk, sort things out, and attempt to start fresh. I do not want to lose him, but I am uncertain if taking him back is the right decision. My reasoning is that I was suffering every day, crying during our calls, and he failed to recognize my pain. He informed me about the intimate activities they shared, which haunts me. I am unsure what to do. I envisioned my future with him, which is why I am conflicted. However, I do not wish to get hurt again. His behavior does not reassure me. He is not making sufficient efforts yet insists that we will try again. Please provide your thoughts. I am waiting. I am extremely stressed and constantly feel helpless. I feel unwanted, unworthy, unattractive, and more. I often wonder why I wasn't enough for him, why we never lost our virginity to each other despite being in a relationship for so many years, and how he could give my rights to someone else and fulfill his desires without considering my feelings at all. Please help. I am truly exhausted from feeling secondary and being treated like an option.